Hello, everybody. Is my microphone on? Are all my buttons working? Hello. How's it going? Happy Thursday. Right? My days are just flying by, guys. Story of my life. Just running in here with my head chopped off. Let me get all my computer set up. How's it going, everybody? Let's see. We're painting Patrick today. Like I said in my story. Oh, I'm frozen. Like I said in my story, if you guys follow me on Instagram, Taytayski, if you don't. Nobody asked to do Patrick. I just felt like it. And I felt like it would be a fun one. So y'all are along with the Taylor show today. Looks like there's a few of you here that are excited. I got a couple messages from some people saying their kids were super pumped. Pumped on that. Oh, Dresden. What a familiar face. Hello. Haven't seen you in a while. How's it going? Yeah, just so everyone on YouTube watching this, Dresden brought up a storefront, question mark, exclamation point. Yes! Kenzie, my great friend of mine, Mustard Tiger, she works on Thursday nights now, but she used to be in the paint nights often with us. Me and her are going in together on a storefront / my studio is going to be in the back of it. Like, I'm not going to be working from home anymore. Like, right now I'm at home. I'm going to be streaming, painting, packing orders, emailing, doing all the work things in there. So I'm leaving the home studio, you guys. That's a really big deal. And then Kenzie's always had a dream of opening a retail store. So that's the front's her deal. She's got the retail store, but then both of us are going to be in it. It's going to be still very Taytayski Mustard Tiger-y on our own as well, but coming together to share a space, create a little community. Oh, sorry, my fan's just going wild. We're very excited about it. We've been talking about it and doing, trying to get it going for a long time, over a year. But we just released it to all y'all. Oh, Nikki, thank you for the props, you sweet soul. We just, sorry, the ADD just clicked there, obviously. We just released it to all of you guys because we finally got the keys and we finally got in there. There were some points where it just didn't know if it was going to happen. Insurance was really difficult. COVID's getting in the way of lots of business, getting our licenses. Everything was delayed and backed up. But we have it. It's a completely empty space. We have to do a lot of work on it. So we don't even really know where it's going. Chroma Club! Oh my god, I love that you guys know the name and that you're part of it. Yes. Chroma Club. We thought it was a nice, really mixture of the two of us. We both are very like pop culture-y, colorful, glittery, cute styles. And she's not a painter, but so it's nice. Like we complement each other's things well. And we're gonna have like greeting cards and like, you guys, it's gonna be your one-stop shop. My diamond paintings, my paint by numbers, prints, originals, canvas prints. A place that you can like come see us, like know where we're gonna be. It's kind of cool. We're excited. There's no release date. All I'm telling you is what I just said. It's a store with my studio in the back. It's called the Chroma Club. Come join the club. Chroma Club YYC on Instagram. Amazing. Like we were just blown away by the support that we received when we told you all. Like, I think it has almost 900 followers already. Like, in almost, like, 2 days, the Instagram page blew up, and we're thrilled. Let me see, Chroma Club. 887 followers. We don't even have any posts or anything yet. All it says is, coming soon. Oh, boop, whatever. You get the point. I think Kenzie's there right now, actually, which is crazy. Anyway. Circle back. That was a tangent. I know the paint nights are fun because you guys all know what's going on. Like, it's fun. Tay, all this makes me smile. It's quite awesome. Tristan, that makes me cry. It is. It's a huge step for, like, both of our own careers, right? Like, for her to open a store and for me to, like, move out of a home studio. But it's, like, the natural progression for both of us. And it's really fun that we can do it together because we work really well together. And you guys were excited. I'll cry about it. We'll see how she goes. Can't talk about it yet. It's just like we got the keys on Monday, so like it's very like this is a very fresh news. But as usual, keep updated on our Instagrams and stuff. You guys know I suck at that side of social media. Like, subscribe, link below. But that's coming. It's coming. So, back to what you're all here for. People are probably like, okay, girl, we're painting this guy. Okay. Let me go over those good old studio rules and regulations quick. And we'll get to painting. I honestly think this one's going to be fun and easy. Sue me if it's not. But I think it's going to be. Like, look at the shapes we're working with here, you guys. A circle. And some beans with a little curve on the top. Easy. We don't have to draw a star. Stars can be confusing. I can teach you a trick like that after too. Oh, little Taytayski and the Taytayski cartel. RCV, how you doing? Good to see you. Painting Patrick. Are you painting today? Is there gonna be one day where you're like, I'm painting Tay? Like, is that ever gonna happen? Because that'd be pretty exciting. Okay, rules and regulations. Sorry, obviously my brain is everywhere. We're gonna get through this day together. Have I started packing yet? No. All right. Whew. Number 1. I'm not a trained teacher. I have experience now, but I'm not a trained teacher, so there may be some things that I explain weird, wrong, too fast, confusingly, all the above. Don't be afraid to let me know. I'll never be offended. It helps other people watching in the future. It helps me teach the next one. I always say, like, if you are somebody who's been just doing all my YouTubes, like, the early ones were pretty rough. I always suggest people like to do the earlier ones because they're easier pictures, but I'm like, the newer ones are harder pictures, but I'm a better teacher, so I don't know. Oh, Nico, that's true. Maybe you do have to go back so that you get to know all the lingo. Like the peanut gallery, bean science, up drips. We're a little community here. That's fair. That's cool. I like that. So just kidding. Go watch them all. Number 2, already distracted. If you're Nico, also start with a pencil if you want. Lots of people prefer it that way. They're more comfortable making outlines or shapes, initial shapes with a pencil. I just suggest don't push too hard. It will powder, dust, whatever you say across the canvas, and your paints will mix with it, making you have a gray Patrick instead of a pink Patrick. Number 3, don't treat your painting too precious. For sure, in the middle of this painting, all of our things are going to look crazy. They're going to look wild. Don't worry about it. Trust the process, which is the next rule as well. It always turns out in the end, to an extent. It's just that if you halfway through are upset or stressed or worried about every brushstroke you put on, 1, you're not going to have fun, and 2, you probably are going to make a bigger mistake than if you would just let your paintbrush fly. And know that with acrylic paint, we can fix almost anything, okay? Basic, everything, not almost anything. With white paint, you can just cover up any mistakes. So let me know if something happens and you feel like something's off. I can help you tweak it, okay? We went to number 4 already. Let's go number 5. Water is your friend. Acrylic is a water-based paint. I'm a very watery painter. So we're going to be using a lot of water. And if you come up to issues like you take a big glob of paint on your paintbrush and it doesn't seem to pull far on your canvas, or it gets a little like you can see the grit of the canvas between the paint strokes, that usually just means there's not enough water either on your brush or on your paint. Easy peasy, dip your paintbrush in the water. I'm going to be saying it over and over again. You're going to be annoyed, but it's important to know, okay? And like number 6, let's have fun. Especially for painting Patrick. How do we go wrong with that? It's going to be a good time. It's still so bright outside. I am as white as a ghost on here, it seems. I won't lie to you guys that I am sweaty and cranky because it's still so hot in here. It's 30 degrees and it's 8 o'clock. So I'm just pulling it together. You guys, Kenzie's here. Did I not just talk about Mustard Tiger, you guys? Here she is. You're the Patrick to my SpongeBob, she said. Dream come true. Sweetest angel. We were just talking about Chroma Club, Chickadee. They all brought it up. They brought up the name. They brought up the store. Yeah. Yay is right. I was like, I'm going to get emotional. We got to stop. So, for us to start this... Wait, why aren't you at work? We do cry on command. It is a skill that we both have. Okay, doke, guys. We are going to start. Remember, if you are a paint brusher, get with me. Get a skinny paintbrush. It can be like tiny if you want. It can be a little bit smaller if you want. Even like super thin like this. Boop. You go, anytime you hear Mustard Tiger, all you think of is Trailer Park Boys. Well, you get it. That's where it's from. Is it not, Kenzie, if you're still here? If you are working with your pencil, you can skip these steps right now, right? Oh, that's the wrong way. Here we go. If you're starting with a pencil, don't worry about this step. If you are starting with paint like me, you're going to get your red and your white out. All right? Not white out. White out. Except I can't open it. Ever. Oh, okay. I got red out. I got white out. I'm missing comments. Stop looking at my God. Fun fact, in high school I wore a Patrick necklace because I was edgy. Says Kenzie. All right. Was it like a silver chain with a little Patrick on it? Like a little pinky Patrick that was like probably glossy, like with a little bit of a shine? Hot topic, yeah. Can we use light pink? Totally. If you have pink, you can. I do suggest, like I'm using red and white to make a pink, but if you look closely at our little guy over here, you can see that his outline is not black on his body, right? His outline's actually like dark pink. And you guys know that I like to paint dark to light, which means that we're going to start with a little bit of a darker color, and then we're going to paint up to that line to make that outline. If you're new here, ignore what I just said. If you've been here a couple times, like Broken Smile has, that might make sense. So you might want to add like a tiny touch of red to your pink because you want it to be a little bit darker. Let me know if that makes sense. So I'm just getting out a little bit of red and a little bit of white. That's probably too much red, but that's okay. I know, I remember loving SpongeBob in like... Did SpongeBob exist in junior high? Now I actually don't remember when I loved SpongeBob, but whatever, high school, junior high, whatever it was, it's ages ago either way. I'm just surprised that it's still like so popular. Same with like Mario and like Pokemon. Like these things have aged so well. All right, folks. Sorry I'm moving slow-mo. It's like 20 after 8 already. I don't feel like it's a kid show either. A lot of kid shows are very not... trying to get the paint in there. I feel like a lot of kid shows are very adult humor because adults have to watch with the kids, so they have to like try to... I think that's what shows try to do. They try to appeal to adults so that their adults will bring the kids to the shows because the adults have to sit through them, right? Does that make sense? Maybe. All right, little paintbrush. We've got red and white. I don't know why my camera keeps just like, stay down, boy. It just moves on its own. I have a little paintbrush. We're starting. We're taking a breath. We're acknowledging the entire canvas, and we're going to try to picture where you want that Patrick to go, right? Even with your hand, you can like roughly like map out like, this is probably what it's going to look like, okay? And that helps us not get stuck painting our Patrick very, very big where we don't have enough room for him, or painting him very small and tiny in the bottom corner here and not utilizing the whole canvas. So I'm going to dip my paintbrush in water, and I'm going to go into the red. You see here, like I'm making a little pile of a little bit of red. I'm going to take a little slob of the white, and I'm going to mix it in the red here. Sometimes this part's hard with very small paintbrushes, but you can use another one if you want. But this is my good old trick, okay? My chocolate milk consistency trick that I always use to be the rough sketch of your painting. So the reason I'm putting so much water, like I'm scooping every time I'm bringing... Oh, you guys can't even see my water. Terrible setup today. So this is my water dish right here. Every time I bring my hand over here, I'm scooping water with my brush, just pure water, into this little pile of dark pink that I just made. Okay, y'all with me? And we want it to be super watery. Like more this is what I see the most when I see people's paintings or when they struggle halfway through, is they didn't put enough water in their paint at this stage. So their outlines are dark and you can see them through their paint. So add more water than you even imagine you need, okay? Because it's easy to add more paint if you need to. So I've got this big pile of chocolate milk consistency paint. That's this dark red color, okay? After all that, I take a bigger brush anyway. I have this really watery, like, see how there's a drip that forms so quick? It dripped already. Another one's going to form in a second, but see the drip forming. My gosh, now it's not even doing it as fast as I want it to. So that means I need some more water. But a bead forms the bottom of your paintbrush, and it drops right now. Boop. See that? That is a perfect consistency. We're going to take a deep breath because we're going to have fun. This isn't stressful at all. No mistakes. Hashtag. And we're going to decide where we're going to just draw that big old belly. Okay? And remember, we look at this picture. It's like we still need to have room for the top of his head. We still need to have room for his little nubbin legs and arms. So we're just making the big old belly in the bottom half of our canvas. Okay? And remember, since this is just our rough sketch, like, let's just go for it. And see how the lines are like crazy? It doesn't matter that I'm going around a couple times because I really just want... I'm going to be painting over this anyway, especially if you're using a pencil. Same thing. We're going to be painting over it. You don't have to have it a perfect circle your first little swipe around because that's borderline impossible. See how I'm holding my paintbrush really far back because I'm being like loosey-goosey? At the start, we're trying to let it kind of go a little bit, let the shapes form themselves. You don't want to hold it really close because it's even harder to make a circle if you're like this far choked onto your paintbrush. But if you're far back, you can almost do it with just a little bit of your wrist, right? Like if you see my hand here, you can make the whole shape. We've got a belly. And who knows, we might want to make him chubbier later. We can do that too. This is just a base for us to start laying it all out. We're keeping using that chocolate milky consistency paint. Sorry if that's gross or not. That's the best way to say it. And we're going to start drawing his cute little head, okay? And see how we have the circle. We're going to pretend like we're on the circle. And once we get to the top, we're going to come in a little bit and bring that line straight up. See, I'm not going straight off the edge of the circle. That would be over here. I followed the circle and then I kind of curved it on straight up like I was following the line. You can bring it up as high as you want to put that little... Start that head of his. Okay. And then it's going to be the same thing. For some of you, it might help for you to preemptively decide where that line's going to go, right? Same as we did over here. You followed the circle. I'm following the circle over here. And we're popping it up. Oh my gosh, just dropped my paintbrush. Okay. And see how we've curved it at the top. Now we're just going to cap that off. Right? And you can add those lines together. Again, this is just our rough draft. We can make him chubbier. We can make him skinnier. It doesn't matter. Maybe you want to bend this more or make it smaller. Whatever. We're good for now. But see how light this is drying once it dries? Because there's lots of water in it. The more water, the more translucent the paint will dry. And for you at home, like, it can dry even lighter than this. Mine has to be dark so that you guys can see it, but you can add more water to make it even lighter than that. Again, just a rough little light. What you call it underneath. Okay, I'm still using that darker pink that we made. We've got lots of water on our brush. It's a smaller brush. Let's draw some arms. Easy, right? Actually, I also don't have music on, and that's what's driving me insane over here. We'll draw an arm first. We've got the circle. And again, always look at the reference photo, me, over here, to kind of try to see how I'm building what I'm building, why I'm telling you to put the shapes where I'm putting them. Again, I draw them on an angle, so they get a little wonky, but that's fine. And so we come to the intersection of the circle and the top head piece that we've made. And we're just going to draw a line straight through it. Boop. Oops. Oops, oops, oops. Let's just play this. Sound effects required. I feel like it makes it easier if you do. I'm not gonna lie to you. Alright, so we just went right at that little intersection. And we went beep. Check that out. And on the other side too, where's our little intersection? We're not gonna come fully over across it. I think I missed a word or two there, but that's okay. See how this one we came over top and we drew that across? We're gonna just start on the outside of that cross. And same thing. Boop. And again, see, like, I'm fixing these shapes. It's not precious. It's not permanent right now. And then same on this side. Let's just curve it at the top and bring it on down. And we're gonna go on to his sweet, sweet belly, right? And again, if you've been here before, you'll know this trick maybe a little bit. I don't even know if a trick is the right word, but I'm still using the same paint consistency and brush and everything. But we're about to draw his like big old belly line. And we want him to seem a little 3D, right? Like if we drew a line straight across, it wouldn't look like he has a big old belly like he does. And we want that because it's adorable. So the way to show that his belly's like protruding out at you, if we split the circle in half, because that's where we're going to be making the line of his pants is underneath the circle. So that means since we're on this bottom side, we're going to mock the shape of the bottom of the circle. Does that make sense? So here's the center. We're going to come down a tiny touch. And we're just going to mock like this line underneath. Oops, I keep dripping paint everywhere. But see how we're not mocking the top of the circle? We're mocking this line at the bottom. Right? And then vice versa, like if he was gonna have like a tank top on at the top, like imagine a cutie little white like wife beater or whatever they're called. If you're above the middle, you would do the line the same as the top. You would mock the top, and that would just show that like basketball belly, I think is what I meant to say, but hey, girl, what are you doing? She who must not be named just decided to stop playing music. Rude. Okay, if there's somebody out there that follows me step by step, like, please don't copy that. That's just a drip. I know there's some of you out there, but that was a mistake. Okay, like, we basically already have him. I'm not gonna lie to you. But we're just gonna draw some little legs. Same thing, we're gonna come down this big old belly. I'm almost out of paint, but that's okay. And we're just gonna make those cutie little nubbins again, too. A little bean, right? See how his belly goes over? We're gonna come down a little bit more. And we're just gonna... If you imagine, I say bean because, right, if we completed it, it would look like a little bean. You don't have to draw this top oval of it, right? That's just, some of you might be easier for you to make that in that complete shape. That might help some of you. That's totally fine. But you don't have to. And look, another one. Another one. Maybe make this one a little bit longer than the one on the left because it's a little bit closer to us. So we'll make it a little bit longer. But you guys, that's basically Patrick. Basically Patrick. So, one thing before we begin coloring everything in, we're going to do the same thing for these little legs of his that we did for his little belly. Okay. We're just going to make another light little line. Boop. That's a little bit mocking the bottom, but since it's closer to the center, it's not as big of a curve. Right? This one's like, whew! And since we're closer to the center of this shape, we're just going to give it a little... Boop. It's the only way I can describe that. Well. Alrighty then, folks. Hilariously enough, we've basically got Patrick here. And like I said, like maybe will we need to make him a little chubbier. He's obviously going to have his little pants and things. We are going to figure that out. Let me just make sure everything's in the right spot. Okay. I think we're good. All right, how we feeling? Outline stage complete. How's it feel? What I'm gonna get us to do now, some of you probably still have that mixture of the dark pink. I ran out of it, but I'm just gonna make a little bit darker again. Ignore me. That's a lie. We're gonna need that later, but right now, what we're gonna do instead is we're gonna get a big brush, because we're just gonna start coloring Patrick in. It's probably the best step. Looks like the Krusty Krab. Aww. Does look like the Krusty Krab right now. He does. Wow, I'm just blinded by the light today. What was I gonna say? The one thing I guess that we should probably talk about before we start coloring it in is his eyeballs. For those of you who have a white that you trust, a white acrylic paint that you know like 1 or 2 coats will cover anything, you can just start coloring in this whole guy light pink, the whole guy. If you are worried that your paint's not the strongest, you're gonna just do with the same watered down paint. We're just gonna draw his eyes in. And if you paint him all in right now, you're just gonna paint a white circle, paint a white circle. Does that make sense? I'll just try to teach it as the way that is easiest. So we're gonna decide where his eyeball is. So if we look at our reference photo here and at our Patrick here, right? Look at them together. Oh, where's my hand go? Like this. You can kind of tell that his tongue is gonna be very similarly placed to where the top of our circle is. Like his mouth is roughly gonna be in this shape. If you try to visualize, like try to with your head put a circle right around his belly in this picture right here. Look at, I literally look like a different... This is the color that I actually am in this camera. And over here I am a vampire. Okay. We are going to decide where to put his eyeballs, right? So if his mouth is going to be here, just slightly above, we're going to pop in an eyeball. We can also look like where's this line in relation to the eyeball on Patrick. And we're just going to start by drawing a bean. This one goes right off his face and comes on in. Whoop. How's that? And again, I know we're going to have to put white in there, but it will be easier than having to paint a full circle white. And right beside it, you're going to do that same old thing, okay? But we're going to have to overlap the eyeball that we already drew. And remember, white can save our day. Even if you don't trust your white as much as you could, if you don't trust your white fully, it will still help in some of these situations. Okay. We've got some eyeballs ready to play. And now we're literally just going to color him in except for his pants. Okay? Unless you want to draw his pants first. Sorry, you guys. I'm just a disaster. If you want to draw the outline of his pants, all we're going to do is follow that same line that we did, that little curve. We probably should have just did it from the beginning. Sorry. But we're going to make it long across like a top hat. Like, do you kind of see how this looks like a top hat now with a little man? Look, this could be a face. But don't make that face. We're making that line across. And we're pulling it on up. Same on this side. Pull it on up. So see where our initial bean is? We basically just drew a rectangle around it with a slight curve that's mocking the bottom direction. Again, my paint's pretty dark. Yours can be a lot lighter if you want it to be. And same on this one. We're going to go a little, like, not too far off. We're going to copy that curve and come more on the left-hand side. And curve it on in there. Right? And if we start picturing where that's gonna go, then we've got a Patrick coming along. All right, everybody. Let's grab a big paintbrush. It can be a square. It can be a curved square. It can be a rounded. Whatever you feel's best. I'm probably going to use maybe this guy. So now that we have a little bit of a darker edge, yours might be very light. That's okay. Now we're going to add a little bit more white to that already red and white mixture that we made, right? Some of you might, like Broken Smile was saying, she has pink, light pink, use it. That's great. If you want to lighten it up a bit, you can add some white to that too. White's your friend. And also remember that your acrylic paint is going to dry darker. If there's not water, if there's not more water than paint in your paint stroke, your paint's going to dry darker on the canvas than it looks on your palette. Okay, just keep that in mind. It's drove me crazy many times. Again, now we're using pretty thick paint. We're not worrying about that chocolate milk consistency, but we do need water on our brush. That's important. Because we want it to pull across the page. And we're literally just going to start coloring in. Okay? And there's like, with the first line we'll make here, I'll show you what I mean by corrections. This is when you can start making your corrections, right? Maybe let's zoom in. There's going to be a monstera. Yeah, I knew that. I always forget to change this page. Give me 1 minute. I'm just going to add, hey. Okay. I'll just put him above my head. Okay. So, what I mean by corrections you can make is, remember, always look at the reference photo. See where we're working. I don't mean to just like him to be wearing, him to be my hat. But we can see that he's a little bit chubbier than what the circle made. So we can come up to and clean some of that line. But see how I'm leaving some of my outline on the edge? Again, that's a very like me style thing to do. You don't have to leave edge. If you want to, you can paint right up and completely cover the outline that you've already drawn before. Again, if you're a pencil person, that doesn't matter. You obviously will cover up, no big deal. And you're just gonna fill up your Patrick. It is, usually you will get better results if you are conscious of your brush strokes and you try to make them go in roughly the same angles. See, so I made one big curve under his belly, but then the rest of them I'm pulling up. And I'm painting right over top those lines. See, like just disappear. Those initial sketch lines. That's what I meant by don't hold them too precious. Like, who cares? And see, I'm choosing to cover some lines, but I'm keeping some other ones, right? Because in our reference photo, you can see here that there's an outline. I don't think you guys can see my mouse, but there's an outline under his armpit on this side, right? And you can keep that outline there if you want, or you can redraw it later. Oops. But see, again, like, this is just, I know I said it, I repeat myself a million times, but that's leaving that darker edge is just kind of a style choice. Again, we'll go back in with the darker pink, though, to bump up those lines. I'm not worried about his mouth yet because his mouth is darker, and darker paint always goes on top of darker paint. I don't have to worry about that for anyone. And I'm just going on through. See, my paint has ended up being pretty close to the color of that outline there. That's all right. I'm coming up to his little eyeballs. Oops. My paint was dripping a little bit. Oops, oops, oops. I feel like my glasses don't work as well as they used to anymore. Alright, keep it coming. Filling him in with the same color, like pretty solid. You can put the paint on pretty thick if you want. And then again with the like fixing here, see this bump is still from the red initial circle that we drew. But in our reference photo, that's not there. But I'm going to keep some of the outline. I'm just going to cover a little bit of it. Does that make sense? Like, see how now it's not like a big curved circle. Now it actually just looks like an outline because we covered up what we don't care about. Or what didn't look right. Just covering up those mistakes. And see, like, I'm conscious. Like, I can see that there was some more red in the paint, so it's a little bit darker, like, drying a little choppy, and, like, I personally like that. If you don't want to achieve that look, you have to make sure that you mix your colors very well before you start painting on. Like, not with a paintbrush. You can use, like, a palette knife or something else. But bristles aren't the greatest to blend smooth. And I, like, consciously know that. That's why, like, I like that colors don't blend smooth, and that's why I blend them with my brushes. But again, you can do whatever is more comfortable. I always joke about one of my favorite teachers. Like, he, like, probably cringes every time if he ever sees that I mix my colors with a paintbrush. Sorry, not sorry. Alright, let's just fill in those little feeties. Patrick, Patrick, Patrick. Oh, sorry, those are hurting my eyeballs. Okay. I'm a different type of unable to see now. Alright, now while that pink dries, you're going to take some white that should already be on your palette. There should be some pure white on there. Take any size brush that feels appropriate for covering up the lines that we don't want to see and where his shorts are going to go. Because his shorts are a very different color than this pink, so it probably will help us to get rid of some of that pink color before we paint the green on there. This is like a dollar store paintbrush, that one. Which works as well, no shame on that game. I'm gonna use a brush like this. You hardly want any water in there. You want pretty much only paint. And you're just gonna cover up in the parts that we don't want to see in the pants, right? So I'm just going right in the middle. And I'm covering some of those bean lines. Right? And on this side, like, see what I mean by bean lines? Like, get these guys out of there. You can cover the whole thing. You can use touches of water, right? Like a little bit of water will go a long way to help you pull it across. But you don't want anything close to that chocolate milk consistency we're playing with before. And we're doing their whole pants. Right? How is that looking? See, like his pants are coming to life. And this is the like white out technique that I use personally in my own practice, like every day, all day. You just white away your mistakes until it looks the way you want it to. Okay? I might grab, hold on, my other glasses. But this can have, this little technique can work in other ways too. Like we can come to the butt of his little pants here. Maybe I'll zoom in on this. I don't know if you can see, I think I subconsciously did it without really talking to you guys about it. The circle, his little belly kind of goes into his pants a little bit. So you can use white to make that little divot between his belly and his pants if yours is still in the circle, in the exact circle. Does that make sense? Like I'm white outing that. And then I usually suggest to like white out the rest if you do put the white on one side. But again too, like maybe you want to bring his pant leg down a little bit more. That's just more white. Right? To just bring that line down, and we can put an outline in there later. There's the star of the show. Tender Bear, I just always love the puns. How you doing? Alright, I'm gonna stop picking at that like a crazy. Happy Thursday night to you. And to everyone. Sorry to hear. I won't lie to you. Same. Same. Whoop. Oh, I'm just painting and not talking to you guys again. We are just filling in these eyeballs with white. Again, if you're somebody who doesn't have a great quality white, you may have to do this a couple times. But it would be more enjoyable to do it on just those few little spots instead of if we painted the whole Patrick's eyeballs. The whole Patrick pink and then had to draw these eyeballs on top. Remember, this is a time too where you can resize them if you want. How's that? Ow, I just said my funny bone there. We've got some white eyeballs there, folks, for a little Patrick. Hi. That was a mixture of like Ross Geller and Patrick, I think. That high. Okay. Right? That's cool. I'm leaving the drips because that's who I am. But other than that, I think it's come on. Okay, yeah, wait. While you do that, I'm just gonna try to grab another pair of glasses. Ow. Alexa, next. Maybe that'll help. Okay. How do we feel? How are our Patricks coming along? Are they a yays or a nays? Or a burnays? Oh, I just got a reminder that confused me, but we're good to go. Looking good. That's what I like to hear. Okay. My brain. Okay. What we are going to do. Nico started with comics and anime, so this is his wheelhouse. Understandable. Same, actually. I was a cartoon. I only drew cartoons, no realistic anything, until after I graduated art college, which is funny. So, like, all throughout college, art college, I drew cartoons. Until I painted Robert De Niro one day. Alrighty, everybody. If you have that red, like the dark red pink that we started, that we made chocolate milky at the start. If you still have that, awesome. I don't. I'm just going to have to remix it. But I don't want a chocolate milky. I want it to be like a pretty decent thickness. So it's going to be a little bit, we want it to be darker. Because before we're using it with a lot of water, so it dried light, so we could cover over top of it. Now we're just bumping up those dark lines. Again, with the same size brush you outlined with. If you're a penciler, like a skinny pointed brush will do. That'll do, donkey. And we're literally just gonna outline him. And it can be like rough if you want it to be. Remember, it's going to dry a little bit darker than... So maybe mine's a little too dark, but we're going for it. And we're just gonna bump up that outline. That we already know is there. Did I hear about the Nickelodeon Smash knockoff? You mean like Nintendo, like Smash Brothers? But with Nickelodeon people? That feels like a sin. Or did I... It's called Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. Are there rights to sue? Do you think? Did you try it? Have you played? No, they're literally the ones made... Oh, yeah, oh. No, I meant for... not Nickelodeon, like Nintendo. Like, could Super Smash Bros. Be like, no. That's our jam. That's cool, though. That's cool. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Again, maybe it'll age me. But... so we have a Wii now. I grew up on N64 and other things. And, Super Smash Bros. On N64, like, I'll destroy you. I will. We used to, even as, like, in high school, we would still be, like, we would have N64, tournaments at our homes with big whiteboards, and we'd just play for hours and days. And now we have a Switch, or even on Wii. I cannot, you guys, I can't play that. Oh, there's paper slowing. I can't play that Smash Brothers, the new and improved Smash Brothers. There's too many buttons, the screen's crazy, there's too many people. It's just like, I just can't do it, Captain. Boop. Oh, I made his foot a little, whatever. Boop. 1, 2, 1, 2. I think we've got a Patrick. I'm gonna zoom in just so you can see, like, it's not clean. Like, just because some people think it has to be, it can, but like mine's pretty messy if you go across all these lines here. It's not a perfect line. You can see some of my outline from before. You can see some of the new ones. It's cool. And fun part is you're just going to draw a couple of little lines in his body. Remember, his mouth is going to go in here. Oh, you guys can't even see that. His mouth is going to go in this rough area. It doesn't matter if you make a couple lines in his mouth. We just cover them up. But I'm just in the same color that we just outlined him in. He's got a couple little porous lines. Line. Oh no, that's mine. From Finding Nemo. All right. The lines look weird right now, but I promise you they're coming together. All right, and now that we have this dark red on our brushes, we are going to start laying out where his mouth is going to go. Let me know if I'm going too fast. It's like 9 right now. We're doing a good job. So we're coming underneath his face, his eyeballs. Again, look at the reference photo and try to see how far his nose... He doesn't have a nose. The bottom of his eyes is away from the mouth, and that's a good place to try. It doesn't have to be exact, but it's a good way to start to try to see where that line goes. And he's smiling. It's going to be the top of his mouth, just the top line. So we're going to go, let's say, here. And we're going to go up to the side of his mouth. I mean, eyes, Taylor. Eyes. Let me zoom in for you. Right now, he just looks like a budget Patrick. Again, my painting's a little bit on an angle for you guys, so the angle's a little weird, but close enough, close enough. Right, so we drew that line in a curve, his initial smile. We're going to put black on top of this later, but this, now that it's blue, it's a little bit less intimidating to start doing these lines. We're going to make that good old smile line on top of there. Me. Coming together, coming together. I'm just kicking cameras and stuff. Don't mind me. Still using all the same stuff. We are going to come in a little bit. We're not going to start at the end of the mouth. Like, we're not starting right here. We're going to come in a little bit like here. I'm going to draw a little curve. Ah. No, we're not. That's a lie. It'll be easier for you to do it this way. We're going to start right in the middle of his little crease smile that we did, right? Right at the crease. And we're going to bring a line down to as wide as you want his mouth to be open. Remember, water will be your friend to pull this across a little bit. And we're going to curve that line almost parallel. Once we get down, we're going to almost be parallel to this top line here. Like this. Alright? And then we're going to come. We're not going to start at the tip of these lines. We're going to come in a little bit. Like in a little bit. Like this much. And we're going to draw another one of those curved little cuties. Yup. Right? How's that? Pretty good, if you ask me. And then guess what? How we were just doing the white out method with just the white paint, you can go into that light pink that you use to color him fully in, if you have some left. I don't, story of my life. I'll just have to mix a little bit more. But you can clean stuff up, right? Like if you want, you can clean up the line. Maybe you made it a little too long. Maybe you want that to be a little bit smaller. Wait for it to dry, but you can cover up some of those spots. And I'm hoping that that dries close to the color we want it to be. But remember, whiteout method. In any color, you can use it to fix. Dry darker, little guy. Okay. Sorry, I just punched the camera again. Microphone again. But we still have this dark red that we did all that outline on. That was just a little tangent in case you needed some help with something. We're using that dark red. And we're going to draw his little tongue, okay? We're going to come right to the edge and we're just going to do one little curved bump. Whoop. But that's not his whole tongue, that's just one little part. We're going to go right beside it and do one more little beep. See that? It looks like a little butt at the moment. My apologies. But that's how we get where we want. Okay. We've got a Patrick here, folks. Even now, even if it's still wet, what you just did, those two little butts. You're gonna go in with a bunch of white to make a lighter pink than you've had before. And you're just going to fill in that tongue. It's okay if it blends in a little bit with the wet paint. But you're going to cover over that middle line and keep that little butt. Right? Do you see what I did there? I covered up the line in the middle of the two bumps to make it a full bump. And just like Nico said, his tongue is basically a butt, so... I also, 2-for-1 class today, taught you how to paint a butt. We can even make it a little bit lighter. I know right now, live, we don't have the power to rewind, so I can show you. Do you guys see? Remember how I just put a swipe of paint right here and a swipe of paint right here, and it looked like it was like super, super light? But look, it dried. Perfect. Can't even see it. Little butt, little butt. Okay, it's a little messy, but again, remember, we're outlining some of that stuff in black. All right. Now, before we go to black, we are going to draw his little pants, okay? It's gonna be green. If you are somebody who doesn't have green, green is blue and yellow. But in this case, way more yellow than blue, and some white probably too if you want to get this limey color. Some of you might have lime, like I have a vivid lime green I'm probably just going to try to use here. And before we start to paint in the full pants, and I'm just going to zoom in so that you guys can see. Like, see, like you can still kind of see the lines here that were underneath it. When I made that initial white layer over top, it wasn't necessarily meant to cover everything. But at least just to give us a good solid base. It's like priming the area for a lighter color, right? So before we get a big brush that's not gonna do it. We're gonna get a smaller pointed brush. Where's my hand? With this green, and we're gonna map out where those purple flowers are gonna go before we just start willy-nilly filling in the pants, okay? So I have this little brush, I'm going into my green, and I'm getting it wet a little bit, but not like chocolate milk or anything. First step is we're just gonna make the green rim around his belly. And again, I'm a messy painter, so like I like being able to see some of the white from underneath or colors peeking through, or if it's a little bumpy in some spot, I like that. You might not, so make that as smooth as you wish. We're going to start at the bottom of his little ankle down here, of his pants. And first we're just going to make literally just basically a C. And from that C, you're just gonna curl out to another one. So see, we went a C, we did a curly Sue out the top of it, and curled it right on back. Flower. Done. Again, this is like how I teach sometimes, right? Like, your eye doesn't have to actually know it's a flower. People are gonna get it. Don't worry too much about little details that don't need to be worried about. Now for his big old belly flower here, it's going to be a little bit different. We're going to pick where we want it, and we're going to just draw a circle first, like a full... Imagine you're drawing a circle around the outline of the flower that you're seeing on in the reference photo right here. And now we're going to do the opposite. Like, you're going to paint backwards. Like, I'm going to fill in a green little shape right there. And on this side, I'm going to fill in a little green shape on there. Right? And that's basically the flower. We're going to color it in purple. But now everything else, we can color in green without being worried about coloring anything over, right? Again, purple is a pretty powerful pigment. It could easily probably have painted over top the green. You didn't have to trace them out first. But I think it's easier. As I'm drawing this out now, like, I'm realizing that I made his legs a little bit closer than they are in the reference photo. I'm not going to fix it, but again, if it's something that you wanted to fix, it would literally just be paint white, boop, right over top this whole thing. And just bring his leg on over and repaint it again. Not the end of the world. Oops, I almost just painted through the flower. You also can get a bigger paintbrush for this stage. I don't know why I'm just struggling with this little one at the moment. But, again, I'm being conscious of my brush strokes, right? Like, I'm kind of following the shape of this belly of his. Going left to right, curved a little bit. Alright? And again, you can see this, I literally complain about this green, like, I feel like every paint night that I use it. I just forget until I use it again. I'm gonna need to do 2 coats on it. You can kind of see it's a little messy, or I can leave it because it doesn't really matter. But there is his green shorts. And again, I always say, as long as you have blue, red, yellow, black, and white, you can mix any color, and you totally can. Some of them are a little bit more tedious, but if you were to pick one of the secondary colors, I would say green. Like, orange, very easy to mix with red and yellow, no matter what red or yellow you have. Orange is pretty straightforward. Pink is straightforward. Purple is a little bit tougher with blue and red, but easier than green. It's like it would be very difficult for somebody at home who doesn't know how to mix color to mix a light lime green. So if you are somebody who wants to paint more and wants to know what supplies to buy, not buy all of them. If you got those 5, red, yellow, blue, black, white, and a green could save the day a little bit for you. Alright, I'm going to zoom out a little bit here and look at that little cutie patootie. Remember, at any stage, if you need to repaint white over something because it needs another coat or 2, go for it. Just for time purposes, I'm just gonna, I'm cheating here for a second. Sorry. This is just like I'm painting this over with white, okay? Alrighty, we are going to get a little bit of black on our palette. The thing that's nice about this one, we're not outlining the whole thing in black, which is a blessing. We are just outlining a couple things. We'll see how that goes. But before we start outlining, we do have to fill in the color of his mouth. And by doing that, or to achieve that, we are just going to add a tiny touch of black into red. And I'm a broken record when it comes to this black. Black is a very powerful pigment, the best. I can't do a painting without it. But it will take over any color that you mix it with in a second. So when I say put the tiniest little like toothpick dip of black into a big old pile of red, I'm not joking. Add the tiniest amounts, and you can still keep adding. Like maybe you want it to be a little bit darker, you can add a tiny touch more. But again, like toothpick amount of black at a time, or all of a sudden you will just have black. Okay? So I'm like slowly adding little tiny pieces of black to my red. And remember, it dries darker on your canvas than it looks wet on your palette. So we're going to take that brush. Again, play it by ear what feels right for the size of your Patrick. And I'm just going to fill that in. It's like a dark, like, it just looks black. But maybe if I paint it on my hand. Can you guys see that? It's not black. It's like a red, like a dark red. All right. Sorry, my brain just shut off there for a second. Just zoned out. Okay, bringing up his little smile. Right? Oh, that's his butt. Hi. Right? Oh, I made his tongue a little. Whatever works. Alright? He's cute. I love him. Okay. We have a black outline-ish layer to go, and then just paint those flowers purple, and he's basically complete, you guys. Isn't that not so? So here's the part where I acknowledge that I am teaching people who know how to paint and have painted often. You guys can ignore all this. People who are newer to the painting game and not super comfortable with outlining. People who have paint supplies like paint markers, etc. We're working with a lot of people. Brand new. Some people, this might be your very first painting ever, because I get a lot of those too, which I'm pumped about. But I'll admit straight up from the front. What am I saying? I will be straight up with you from the beginning. Outline is a stressful part for people, okay? I hate that it is, but it can be. Some people think that their painting was great until they outlined it. Some people don't even like outline. There's a lot of things that factor into that. So I always say, one, if you're not comfortable with painting outline, use a Sharpie, and I don't care. Don't tell anyone. I won't tell anyone. Other artists may say it's a sin, whatever. It's a painting for you. Paint it however you want. Use a Sharpie. If you have a paint marker, even better. Again, they don't sponsor me yet, but maybe one day they will. Molotow paint markers, okay? Maybe this camera will be better. Molotow paint markers, okay? It's basically just like using a marker, but it's paint. Beautiful for outlining. I use it all the time, every painting I do. People who want to learn to get better at using a brush, I'll teach you a little tippy tricky here. But know that it's time. It's gonna take you time no matter what. You're gonna have to get used to holding a brush, etc., etc. Okay? So here's a good old little skinny paintbrush, right? Oops, nice and small. I'm gonna go into my black paint, and I'm just gonna show you something that might be causing some of you guys stress, okay? So this is my canvas, this is my surface, right? And here's my paintbrush, and I'm putting just the tip, like just the tip of the paintbrush. Like if you look at it from the side, like I'm hardly touching the canvas at all. And I pull that line across, and look at that nice little skinny line, right? But now if I go down here and I push every single bristle, like if I go to the side, you can't even see any bristle. The whole paintbrush is pushed so hard onto the canvas, and I pull that baby across. Look at how thick of a line that was compared to the little line on top. But it's the same paintbrush, right? So that just means when you are using a paintbrush to outline with and you want it to be a nice little dainty line, you want to use just the tip of the brush. You don't want to use a lot of pressure. You're going to want to use either your hand or something else to hold on to the canvas, as long as the paint isn't wet behind you, to hold most of the pressure, and just use just the tip of the brush. And again, people are always like, say that I make it look very easy, and I should, because I've been doing it every day for 25 years, okay? So don't try to compare to me. It's gonna take some time for your hand to get used. It's like hand-eye coordination. It's like muscle memory. But no, when you keep that in mind, that you're like, oh, I want a thin line. I'm not gonna use all the pressure on my paintbrush. I am going to just use just the tip of the brush. And like, even like, I'm holding my arm. I don't even know if you guys can see that. Like, sometimes I hold my arm. But we're going through to outline all these places. You want a good amount of water on your brush, okay? Because water's going to help you pull it across. You don't want it to be that chocolate milk consistency, though. I know it sounds confusing, but you want more paint than water, just a little bit of water on your brush. And remember, you can fix stuff. Like, we don't have to follow exactly what we did with that dark pink that we were doing before. Like, if you look at it closely, like it almost looks like he has lipstick on right now, but I don't care. So Nico said he's even used a brush pen, which is pretty nice. See, there you go. There's lots of different mediums you can use. Don't be stressed by having to use a paintbrush if it makes you want to die. It happens. I'm not gonna judge. Okay? And same with these eyeballs. Like, we're gonna trace this one right over top. I also usually try not to talk or breathe when I do an outline. And you know what is a way to avoid having to do an outline if you're not you don't like to do this dainty stuff, or you have a really shaky hand, or you don't like that smooth finish? You can do the opposite, like kind of like what we did before, right? Like where your initial drawing at the bottom is going to be darker, that dark red. And then you can draw light pink up to the dark red, but not fully all the way. And that makes an outline without you having to paint an outline, right? Does that make sense, or am I just like talking mumbo jumbo up here? And let's bring it on down. Oops. Oops, I made this eye a little... Okay, see? So I didn't follow my initial drawing. So once this dries, I'm going to go back in with white and put some white right there and some white right there, because that line's too thick and I don't like it, okay? But I need to let it dry. Acrylic paint covers acrylic paint as long as the paint underneath it is dry. And same thing here. Let's just make a little old beep eyeball, another little mini bean inside of there. And like, look, like my hand is on my canvas. Again, some artists would be like, never put your hand on the canvas, because your hands have oils and grease and it's fair, or you can smudge something. So like, be conscious, of course, of what's underneath your hand. But for me, I just like don't want to have to worry too much about too many things when I paint. I just like to do it. Okay, and on this side too. On this side, it's a little bit closer to the right-hand eyeball than the left. Are they the same size? Maybe the eyeball's a little smaller even on the left-hand side. I don't know. My Patrick's looking forward while the reference Patrick is looking at us, and that's okay. He's got some eyebrows, which are easy peasy. I'm still using this black paintbrush. They're literally just the letter N. Okay? But to the side. We're gonna come up a little ways, up his little head here. And it's just a letter N. I might have even made mine a little bit too thick. Maybe let's make the next one a little bit smaller. Like maybe letter N. Yeah, his left eyebrow's a little thicker than anticipated, but you know what? I'll leave it on the eyebrow for a second. Like I said, I made his a little thick. He's like Mr. Bean Patrick over here. And let's come on down to this little belly of his. Oops. Look at his belly button. Another easy peasy thing that's going to take a millisecond. We're going to come down right above his belly, and you're just going to draw a little half circle. And then you're going to come to the side of it, and you're going to draw another, like, half circle, but see how it's kind of in the opposite direction? It's not like, it's cupping. There's like a C inside of a boat. And then when it comes to his pants, same old, same old. You're just going to outline it on the edge. Again, like I'm letting some of my dark pink pop through. And I'm just following those beautiful outlines that we have gave ourselves before. You guys, I don't know how many Patricks are being painted today. I don't think there's as many as usual. Which makes me laugh. No, just me wanting to paint Patrick, that's fine. Also remember, you as an outliner out there, you have the liberty or the freedom to move your canvas around to get the perfect line. Like for me, like I would move it. I would move it around to get the perfect arm swoosh. Oh, yes, Nico, thanks. Thanks. And then remember we did one little swipe of green before we started, and that's why there's a green lip on this flower here. That's the other line that you want to make. And again, it's just like parallel. It's just playing keep away from the line above it. And acknowledge where we've made these overlaps, right? So on this leg, this line goes over top of this line, but this leg doesn't. Same here, his little butt comes over top his leg. The leg doesn't go over top the butt. It's all in the details. But like, look how crazy wobbly that line is, you guys. Doesn't make a difference to me. Look at it from far away. Who'd have even known? Right? Realistically, other than me fixing this eyeball up here, I'll show you guys close up, I guess, what I'm doing there. My good old whiteout technique. the best way for me to call it. The best name for it. I'm just going right into my pure white. And I'm just like erasing basically some, but not all. Some of that black line. Right? And then look at, this will make the biggest difference underneath the eye here. I cropped it deeper than I wanted it to, but if I bring it down a little bit more... Now his eyes don't make me as mad when I look at them. Oh no, but I just got black in there. Right, do you see what I did there a little bit? Kind of subtle, but makes a difference. And again, too, like you can erase some of maybe his pupil if you want it to be a different shape. Maybe you want it to be more round. I'm just being anal right now, but that's okay. Just get that in there. But other than painting his little flowers purple, I truly think that our Patrick's, other than a background, of course, I guess we ended early, I can give a background. Oh, the tent. Do you guys remember last week when I was like confused as to where all the music was coming from? We're surrounded by a couple Stampede tents. But I can't complain because I'm going to one on Saturday. But not for Stampede-y things. It's like a dubstep DJ that I love with all my life. I don't know if dubstep's the right word, but there's always like a festival in Calgary when there's Stampede, and it's like the opposite of cowboys. It's like electronic music. It's called Badlands. It's like for the people who aren't cowboys, just to have something else to do. And that's what we're attending. And remember again, my good old whiteout game. I'm cheating because it's just my marker here, but see how we can here. Maybe I just want to sharpen up his little head curve a little bit. Right? I erased some of the paint there to get the shape that I want. Same on this side. If it's like, oh, that outline's too long, you can like thin it out or something. What do you think? Hi. I love him. Okay, let's get some purple in, yes. If you just have the classic dark purple, add some white in there. I'm going to use light violet right now. And there's nothing special about this step. Like, you're just filling in those holes that you left. But you're also remembering that you can fix the flower if you want. Like, you don't have to stick exactly to that shape that you did. Like, let's just say, sorry, I keep zooming in and out, and that's probably annoying. But let's go back to his little belly here. I'm going into the purple. I'm not dry brushing, so I have a little bit of water on there, but it's mostly paint. And let's just say, like, oh, maybe I want this petal to be a little bit deeper, so I'm going to go even where the green was. Doop. Right? It's not, you're not stuck to the shapes that you picked earlier. I might even put a little bit of white into this purple. It's a little darker than I wanted it to be. How about them apples? And then this guy. Oh, this one I drew in a weird spot, and we're just going for it. It looks a little wild. Let's just do that. Then again, totally optional, but if you want to, like in our reference photo here, you can see that the petals are outlined with a darker purple. And we can do exactly the technique I was trying to explain to you earlier. Let's get the purple we were using, add a bunch of white to it to make it a lighter purple. You want it to be lighter than what's laid down already. And you are. Probably should wait till it's dry, but let's just go for it for fun. With this lighter purple, that just looks like white. You can paint up to, but not touching the edges, right? And look, I'm painting, I'm backwards painting an outline. Does that kind of make sense? Alright, I'm leaving the edge darker. Outline painted, beauty. That's actually great. Let's, that's cool. How's that? I love him. What would the background be, you guys? And also, again, remember, you can... Oh, oops. Come on. You can, fix things, too. Like, you can get that light pink back if... Oh my gosh, I probably can't mix that back at the moment with what's on my palette. Too dark, not enough white. But you can mix this light pink and clean up some of the edges if you want to. I'm just looking at the pictures back and forth. Looks good to me. You can also always go back in with black if you need to re-outline some of these things because you went buck wild like I did. Okay. I am just, for the sake of it, since I have some black on my palette, I'm making that chocolate milk consistency with some black, and I'm just going to literally brush it underneath this little guy. Just to make it look like he has a shadow. Again, optional. But see how the paint is super watery and it's going to drip at some point. I don't know why it hasn't yet. Come on, little guys. Right, I'm just putting some little dabs of more paint in there just to make it a little darker in the back. But just even adding a little pile like this underneath him, it kind of gives him a little bit of a shadow, like he's standing in space, in a space, not just floating. How is that? Ooh, ooh. Unless you think it looks like he peed his pants, because that could happen too. But Patrick, do I want to put a background on it, guys? Why do I hate backgrounds? Why do I just love something on a white canvas like this? Maybe let's... No, let me know if you guys want me to do a background. I'll do one. But I like him like this, I think. Did I already get one sent in? Oh. Sydney, whose son I mentioned at the start, was excited to do this cutie little Patrick. She couldn't do it tonight, so she'll have to do it later. That's fine. I do love getting your guys' pictures after of all of them. What? Sometimes, like, past me, like, the notifications that I remind myself. Let me see. Guys, I think that's it. That's all. Let me know if you need some more time to see them. To send them in. I just got a bad review on Etsy because their card didn't show up. Let me just send her a message after, not the time. So, yeah, let me know if you need anything else, any help with Patrick. This was a quick and painless one. It's not even 10 o'clock yet, which is, to be honest, great for me. I have a couple things I gotta do tonight. Next week, we are doing a popsicle. A watermelon popsicle. Let me pop it in here because it's cute. Patrick. Oh, no, that's not what I needed to move. Where are you, little guy? You. Hang out with this, Patrick. Aw, friends. Let me get this. This is what we will be painting next week. Pretty cute, eh? I'm excited for it. I want to do a watermelon. I couldn't find, like, a good example. They were all, like, cheesy photos, but this one's cute. Similar color scheme. Actually, you're right. Bring the same colors as you did today. That was totally by accident. I was trying to think of summertime. I will be very honest with you guys that I might not stream in August. It kills me to say it, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing paint nights just for that 1 month. There was just like 9 million things going on. So having to be committed to this day might be a little tough for that month. But how about I'll just say maybe if it works out, I'll appear. On Thursdays, I might appear in August. But the watermelon will be the last one for a little bit as I'm at a wedding, the one after that. But we'll figure it out. I'll be in the space later and it'll be good. But for now, it's a little too crazy to work in there. But you guys, there's like 70 paint nights on it. YouTube. You'll find many things to paint. For sure, for a fact. And there's nobody out there who has painted every single one of them. I know that for a fact. So there's many of them out there for you guys to try if I'm MIA for a little bit. But I'll come back. And maybe one day they'll be in person too. Challenge accepted, says Nico. I like to see it. I will tell you, Alexa, pause. I will tell you, there are a couple that this is going to be tea here. The one that I don't like the most, there was one that I didn't like the final. That was hard and it didn't turn out the way that I wanted to at the end, is the llama. It just didn't look like what I wanted the llama to look like. Hey, get this out of here. So I would not suggest the llama, but what else do we got? The panda didn't turn out the way that I imagined either, but the rest of them did good. The panda and the llama were two that didn't go the best from my point of view. Other people enjoyed it. But the rest of them are good. I love the pancakes. I love the cheeseburger. Because I just love food. Mickey Mouse was the worst, you guys, because I was a mess. Mickey Mouse, I remember I think I even wrote in the caption, like, I apologize, I'm a mess. So, It was around the time that where I was pulling all-nighters, getting some stuff done for work, and I was a little crazy. Okay, but thanks everybody for painting along today. Glad y'all liked some of the pet tricks. Maybe we'll do SpongeBob sooner rather than later. Oh my gosh, the thumbnail. Taylor, you crazy. I'm assuming the thumbnail is just going to be... Where is my thumbnail? Oh, wow. There's just paintbrushes in the way. I assume the thumbnail... I'm probably just going to be... SpongeBob, right? Doesn't that make sense? I feel like that makes the most sense of them all. No, I didn't get any of them sent in. Or wait, did I miss yours like a jerk? Oh, yeah. I missed a couple of yours like a jerk. Okay, hold on. Sorry. Good call. Where am I here? Instagram. Squidward. Oh, I should be Squidward, Sarah. Yes. Oh, no. See, that's the wrong one. Oh, see, why aren't you giving me... Ah, he's so cute! Look at him! I love him. Ah! And look at that one. Gave him a little extra belly. You guys. They're stinking cute today. Let me refresh my things being weird. They are cute. Oh, I'm yawning. I don't mean to yawn at your guys' masterpieces. Oh my god, I love it. I like this circle canvas trend you've got going on here. But, love the belly, love the cutie. Success across the board. I can't believe I almost missed that. Like a jerk. I didn't see any notifications. And it's because my phone's crazy. Okay, so if I'm Squidward, might just be like pissed. Or am I SpongeBob and I'm like a crazy person? One of the two. Or Squidward. Okay, well, I think one of the two will do. Alright. Let's get this little crazy guy out of here. Okay, you guys, let me see. Can I remember what I'm supposed to say at the end here? Catch me every Thursday, 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We're painting a popsicle next week. But every day, catch me on Instagram, Taytayski, Pinterest, Taytayski, YouTube, Taytayski. Every single, this right now. I'm going to YouTube in a second just to upload it immediately. I don't even edit it, nothing. What you see is what you get. That'll be up on YouTube in a couple hours. I update you on my stories every day. Follow Chroma Club YYC on Instagram to get updates on Kenzie and I's new venture into the retail commercial world. It's pretty exciting. It looks like I got tagged in something from us. Perfect. Yeah. I think that's it. That's all. I'll share Nico's when he's done on my story. Always do. And thanks for all the support, you guys. And for coming every week. And for everything. I'm just rambling on like I always do. You're not slow. We do this pretty quickly. This is a sped up version. So, no worries in that. Okay, you guys. You're the best. See you next week. Catch you on the flip side, and have a good weekend, okay? Bye!